History. The silent spiral theory is a theory of political science and mass communication developed by political scientist Elizabeth Noel Newman. It states that an individual's perception of the distribution of public opinion affects that person's willingness to express his or her own opinions, which in turn affects the views of others, and ultimately the willingness of others to express their opinions. The main argument is that people influence each other's willingness to express their opinions through social interaction. According to the spiral of silence theory, when individuals notice that their personal opinions are shared across the group, they become more confident and outgoing. The spiral of silence theory is a theoretical hypothesis on the formation of public opinion put forward by German sociologist Noel Newman in the 1970s based on the perspective of history and communication. It is one of the classic theories in the study of audience response in today's academic circles. This paper demonstrates the existence of the silent spiral theory in the ideological and political communication of contemporary college students, analyzes its possible influence on the ideological and political education of college students, and discusses the countermeasures to reduce its negative influence. Origin. The theory of silence spiral, which originated in the 1970s, is a typical representative of the strong effect theory of mass communication, based on individual fear of loneliness in group life. It emphasized that the formation of public opinion is related to people's ability to perceive the surrounding opinion climate in the traditional mode of mass communication, because there is little communication between audiences and there is a linear one-way mode when receiving information. People will subjectively think that the media represents the majority opinion. The emergence of the network has revolutionized the communication mode, and at the same time, it has also posed a new challenge to the theory setting. Elizabeth Noel Newman's classic hypothesis of spiral of silence is facing a huge impact of crowd anonymity and individual opinion in the context of new media, and the old spiral of single rotation has gradually divided into the double spiral of two-way interaction between media and the public. By studying the relationship between the media agenda spiral of top-down information dissemination and the public agenda spiral of bottom-up information diffusion, this paper finds that the double helix plays a role in constructing social public opinion and influencing individual perception. Evolution. It was originally proposed that The Spiral of Silence is a book written by Chinese scholars in a book year, which is called The Spiral of Silence. In 1974, entitled The Spiral of Silence, in the book she describes a group, and when it comes to mainstream public opinion, she decides to remain silent because she is worried about her own interests or isolation. It is assumed that the silent helix hypothesis is based on Noel Newman's social stress experiment in group psychology. The helix of silence is based on Noel Newman's social stress experiment in group psychology. She believes that social and psychological pressure can affect individual behavior, and people follow beliefs to avoid rejection. Psychological stress can affect personal behavior, and people will follow beliefs to avoid being rejected. Subsequently, researchers conducted a large number of empirical significant quantitative experiments to verify the effectiveness of the silent helix hypothesis and study its applicability in a variety of cultural and socio-economic environments. Experiments are conducted to verify the effectiveness of the silent helix hypothesis and to study its applicability in a variety of cultural and socio-economic environments. The theory of silence helix is widely used in many fields such as politics, sociology, psychology, and so on. It has been widely used in politics, sociology, psychology, and other fields. Researchers use this theory to understand a variety of social phenomena, including elections, public policy making and social media communication, voting, public policy making and social media communication. With the rise of social media, researchers began to evaluate the key points of social media and consider the dynamics of public opinion in the virtual social field. With the advent of social media, researchers began to evaluate the key points of social media and consider the dynamics of public opinion in the virtual social world. The anti-silent spiral phenomenon means that the people of the minority public opinion dare to express their different views from the mass media, rather than remain silent. At the same time, they are also encouraged to continue to spread these minority public opinion. Some of them think that they agree with certain views and accept them, while others continue to spread these views, and finally even go beyond the majority public opinion, against the spiral of silence. Among these people, hardcore members play the role of leaders and are committed to values that are different from mainstream views, encouraging more people to express different views and calling on them to remain silent.
Important concept. The spiral theory of silence is a political science and mass communication theory, describes a phenomenon in which people express their views, fear of isolation. This is one of the core premises of the helix theory of silence. People are often afraid of being isolated for holding different views, and this fear drives them to remain silent and avoid expressing views that run counter to mainstream opinions. For example, no cell phone phobia. Rogers' evolution conceptual analysis was used to analyze the conceptual evolution, conceptual attributes, preconditions, outcomes, alternative terms and related terms, and typical cases of agoraphobia. It involves 6 conceptual attributes: obsessive-compulsive worry, fear of social isolation anxiety, separation anxiety, abandonment convenience, mobile phone attachment. Antecedents include demographic factors, psychological factors, social factors. Outcomes include physiological outcome, psychological outcome, cell phone-related syndrome. In the future, it is necessary to further expand and analyze the connotation of non-mobile phobia so as to provide reference for the related research of non-mobile phobia in different populations in the future and also contribute to the development and application of assessment tools and theoretical models of non-mobile phobia. Opinion climate. People perceive and evaluate the public opinion around climate change or the public's impression of a topic, the environment around them or the public's impression of a topic. This concept can affect people's willingness to share ideas openly. In the different dimensions of climate perception of opinion, the degree of agreement with the majority of people in society and the opinion of most netizens has no significant impact on the expression of online opinions. On the other hand, the disagreement with the mainstream media and parents has a significant positive effect on the online opinion expression of college students. Quasi-statistical sensory apparatus. People judge which views are the mainstream views and which views are marginal views based on the behavior and words of the people around them and the words of the people around you. This estimation method is similar to statistics, except that it relies on small subjective samples, similar to statistics, except that it depends on a small number of subjective samples. For example, application of rapid sensory analysis technique in sensory analysis of wine aroma, napping, combined with ultra-flash profiling was used to evaluate the aroma of 12 Cabernet Sauvignon dry red wines from 4 regions in China. The sensory data were analyzed by Procrust's multiple-factor PEMFA in-scale model and cluster analysis. The results showed that the wines of different producing areas had obvious characteristics of producing areas and similar aroma characteristics. Among them, the 3 multivariate statistical analyses jointly concluded that the Cabernet Sauvignon wines of the Western Shaanxi and Yantai producing areas had obvious characteristics of producing areas, and the wines of the Western Shaanxi producing areas all had the aroma of blackcurrant, red fruit, and hawthorn. The wines from Yantai region have a distinctive smoky aroma, spiral model. Additionally, when individuals discover that their opinions align with the majority's perspective, they gain the confidence to express their viewpoints, thereby amplifying the societal impact of those opinions. On the other hand, when individuals' viewpoints deviate from the norm, they might opt to withhold their opinions, thereby diminishing their social influence. At a time when many people are singing down the traditional media, and when the new media is clamoring for the dimensionality reduction of the old media, it seems very inappropriate to do in-depth and systematic research on the dying TV media. However, those familiar with the history and laws of media iteration know that any kind of arbitrary media death theory is irresponsible. From books and newspapers to radio and movies, the dialectical development, convergence, and spiral evolution of these traditional media clearly show the transformation and innovation to the death, and this time it began to turn to television. Today, television as an electronic media that relies heavily on and has benefited from technological innovation has reached maturity in terms of communication mode, content production mode, audience survey and management system and mechanism. But today, with Moore's Law, Industry 4.0 and other technologies leading the way, TV is being affected by the technological changes it relies on. Content media evolved from social media to scene media, and backward media consumption gradually gave Way to forward consumption social control. According to the silent spiral hypothesis, public opinion can act as a mechanism of social control, which maintains social order by promoting social integration and ensuring the constancy of fundamental behaviors and beliefs. The silent spiral hypothesis suggests that public opinion can serve as a mechanism of social control by encouraging integration and ensuring the constancy of fundamental behaviors and beliefs. Based on qualitative research, this paper investigates the management mode, rules and regulations, and the actions of institutional managers under the control concept of legal orphans relief institutions through the three dimensions of social control, and finds that the intensity, density, and rigidity of institutional control under the current institutional relief model deprives children of the right to acquire life skills, resulting in the emergence of relief. The lack of emotion and strict moral control lead to the lowering of children's self-esteem, and the lack of professionals in the institutions guided by the control concept affects the healthy development of children. It is believed that institutions should improve their own management model. The government should strengthen the supervision and regulation of the operation of institutions and actively promote the family and family foster care model to reduce the adverse impact of institutional control. Role of mass media have a great influence on public opinion, have a significant impact on public opinion. By reporting and promoting a particular point of view, the media can influence public perception of mainstream thought and accelerate the formation of a silent spiral. Specifically, the media can influence the public's perception of mainstream ideas and accelerate the formation of a spiral of silence. Mass media, as the main media of information dissemination in today's society, plays an important role in the occurrence, development, and management of public emergencies, and also has an impact on the severity of harm caused by them. It is of great significance to understand and give full play to the role of mass media in public emergencies and to deal with the relationship between the government and mass media in the process of incident handling so as to reduce the harm of events and reduce the impact on the public. Anti-spiral of silence. In some cases, minority beliefs can be translated into majority views. Through new media, a phenomenon known as the anti-silence spiral. With the use of new media, this phenomenon is known as the anti-silence spiral. This phenomenon usually occurs in the context of anonymity, where anonymity lessens the fear of isolation, information fragmentation, and fragmentation weaken the reduction of consistency. The fear of isolation and the fragmentation of information can reduce consistency. The spiral of silence theory in the traditional media environment. The concept of spiral of silence was first proposed by the famous German communication theorist Neumann in 1974. Its basic content is, before expressing their own opinions, people will first judge and compare the opinions of others, and if they feel that their own opinions are in line with the group's opinion, they will express their opinions decisively.